Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Welcome. It is Friday. It is February 22nd. How are you guys doing today? Have you had a great week? How's your week going? Have you got any good plans for the weekend? Drop me a comment below and let me know. It has been a busy week here. It's actually been a really crazy busy week here. I thought maybe after 3 weeks away we might kind of get a little bit of downtime this week, but we didn't. But hey, you know what? I have learned you just roll with it. You just roll with the punches and you just kind of go with it and you just kind of go with the flow. And when you go with the flow, good things happen. So how's it going today? Have you had a good week? Have you got any great plans for the weekend? We are headed out to my niece's birthday party tomorrow, so super looking forward to that. And then we're kind of getting ready for a little bit more travel. So lots of busyness to do, but hey, it's all good. Yeah, if you're watching this live, please say hi so that I can say hello to you. If you are catching this on the replay, please hashtag replay. And if you think that somebody needs to hear this, then please share it, because the more that you share it, the more that the word gets out there, the more people listen to this, and the more goodness and love that just gets spread around. So I have a question for you guys. When was the last time that you did something for yourself? I'm not talking about the big stuff. I'm talking like, things like you changed careers or you decided to go back to school or something like that. I'm talking about when was the last time that you actually did something for yourself? So I'm talking about maybe you just sat quietly for a little bit. You just did nothing. You literally just sat down and just did absolutely nothing for the sake of just doing absolutely nothing. You just enjoyed sitting and doing nothing and just being at one and being mindful of your environment and just basically resting your body, or going for a walk, or meditate, or be at one with nature. When was the last time you called a friend to catch up, took a candlelit bath, went for a massage, had your hair or nails done, bought yourself a new outfit? Basically, when was the last time that you did something to make yourself feel good? Like, it wasn't a special occasion, it wasn't your birthday, you weren't going out anywhere, you hadn't been given a gift, you just decided for the sake of it, you would just do something for yourself. You would take 5 minutes, half an hour, 5 hours, a whole day, a week, just to do something for you. When was the last time you did something for yourself? Because most of us have a really hard time answering that question. Most of us sit there and go, when was the last time I did something for myself? And I can guarantee you that if you have little people in your house, or even bigger people in your house, it's probably even harder for you to answer this question. It's probably even harder for you to think about the last time that you actually did something for yourself. Because a lot of the time, we actually spend all of our time doing something for other people. Like, we spend most of our lives, in fact, we spend most of our lives doing something for other people. We actually, maybe it's our significant other, it's our kids, it's at work, it's our community. Hey, Carol! Yes, it's a new hairdo. I decided I would go for a bit of a change. It was a little bit of a shock when I came out because it was a little teeny tiny bit shorter than I was expecting. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to work it, and change is good. So, you know what? Out with the old, in with the new. So yes, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. So yeah, so as I was saying, when was the last time you did something for yourself? Because if you're like me, I used to be horrible at doing stuff for myself. And even when I was kind of like single, I would have a lot more time to do stuff for me, but I never really did something to just do it because I wanted to do it, like just because it made me feel good. And so, as I was saying, most of us, if you are like most people, you probably cannot remember the last time that you did something for yourself. but you can definitely remember the last time that you did something for somebody else, whether that's your significant other, whether that is your children, a family member. Thanks, Carol. A family member, someone in the community, and it's something else. You can probably remember the last time that you did something for somebody else, but you probably have a hard time remembering when you did something for yourself, because we spend a lot of our lives doing stuff for other people. We do stuff for other people through acts of service, out of service. We do it because we want to make them feel good. We do it because we love them, sense of obligation. But we very rarely ever do anything for ourselves. And that is a dangerous place to be, because that leads to burnout. So I'm going to read you off a couple of things and tell me if this resonates with you. If you are feeling frustrated, if you are feeling resentful, if you are feeling emotional, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling physically or mentally or even emotionally fatigued, if you are in poor physical health, maybe you have, some different, an autoimmune disease, or you have some different things, health concerns going on. You are maybe, you're having hair loss, you have a hard time losing weight, you are exhausted, but you can't sleep. Lots of other things. You can Google physical burnout, but poor physical health. Maybe you're feeling isolated. You're feeling disconnected from other people. You feel taken for granted. Maybe you're feeling depressed. You're feeling anxious. You're feeling more anxious all of the time. Those are really good indications that you might be experiencing burnout. You might be experiencing physical burnout. You might be experiencing mental burnout. You might be experiencing emotional burnout. You might be experiencing spiritual burnout, or all four of those things. And the effects of burnout can be kind of like catastrophic in our lives. And I don't really have to go into a huge ton of detail, because if you have felt any of those things, you know what burnout feels like. You know how icky it feels. You know how life feels. You get all of the above, all of that I just mentioned, even worse. Like your relationships break down. There just is no joy in life. You just get pissed off with everybody and everything really easily. Stuff that used to really, really, the kids would do that would really irritate you even more. You kind of lose your temper with people really easily. You don't make plans for the future. You don't even, you very rarely think about the future in terms of what you want, or, what you would like to do. You don't feel excited, life just doesn't feel great. And physically, when you have a burnout, what happens is the stress hormones in your body, like cortisol, increases. And when that increases, when your brain secretes that and your glands secrete that, your hormones, when your hormones are out of whack and that stress hormone cortisol increases, what that does is that can actually lead to even more physical side effects. So what that does is it makes it really hard for you to be able to physically connect with people. It can lower libido. It can, communication breaks down. You can lead to, physical symptoms like thyroid issues or adrenal issues. You can see all these things happening in your body, and in your ability to enjoy life, connect with other people, have great relationships, be able to get a good night's sleep. All of that kind of is impacted when your stress hormone cortisol increases. And so the key to you living a life that you actually enjoy and not just enjoy, but you actually love. You know, I'm talking about you live a life where you're like, I really actually like my life. I'm really kind of loving it, actually. I'm really happy. I'm happy in who I've been or who I am. I'm happy with what I have. I'm excited about the future, you know, and you just feel vibrant and alive. The key to that is to look after yourself. Like, it starts there. There's lots of other things as well, but the key starts with looking after yourself. So it's a little bit like a car. If you think of a car and you think of you know, all the things that you kind of need to do to look after a car, like if you think of, you know, like getting it serviced, right? So, you know, there's like the wheels, there are the, you know, specifically the tires, but there's the alignment, right? There is the brakes. You know, there's the, you know, the engine, you know, getting the oil changed, or actually making sure you top up the oil. You know, there's the coolant, right? You know, all of those kind of things, if you think about, that are connected with servicing a car, if you don't service the car, then it's going to break down pretty quick, isn't it? Right? Like, it's going to, you're going to get to a point pretty quickly here where you're not going to be able to drive that thing. Like, it's not going anywhere. And the problem is that happens in our body, in our emotions, and in our mental health. When we do not take care of ourselves, there is wear and tear that happens, that builds up and has a lasting impact. And that is when, you know, it leads to physical illness, it leads to mental health imbalances. You know, it leads to just a general, even if you don't, you've never had, like, maybe you don't have physical ill health right now, or maybe you don't have, you know, mental health is not an issue for you, but maybe you're just feeling worn out, or maybe you're just feeling kind of jaded, or you're feeling kind of fed up with life, or you're feeling like there must be something more. Or a good one is, you look at your life and you're like, you look back to what you had thought life was going to be when you were a teenager, or you were a child, or you were in your early 20s. And you look at life now and you're like, never thought life was going to go this way. Never thought this was the deck of cards, you know, the hand that I was going to be dealt. You know, even if you're feeling like that, the wear and tear that has on your body actually can completely steal your joy and stop you from enjoying life, dreaming, having aspirations for the future, having great relationships, having great sex, you know, thriving in your relationships with your kids, just anything and everything. It can absolutely rob you of joy and stop you from actually enjoying life and having the kind of life that you want. So my story is that my story is that I was single for a really long time, and then I met Kyle, the love of my life, and I became a stepmom literally overnight. And I did the only thing I knew how to do, which was to be a good mum, right? So I did everything. I had an amazing mum, and I did everything that I thought a loving, caring mother should do. And I literally went full tilt, because here's the thing. I'm the kind of person, I don't do anything by half measures. I'm either lukewarm or cold, or sorry, I should say I'm either cold or I'm like boiling hot. I'm very rarely ever lukewarm. So when I do something, I'm like, I do it. Like, does anybody resonate with that? Like, I do it. And I'm like, holy cow, like, okay, great passion, you know, top marks for passion and enthusiasm. But, you know, there was probably a different way that you could have got to the same result. You know, so I kind of just threw myself into it, and I went full bore. You know, I was going to be the best mother. I was going to be the best partner. I was going to, like, keep this amazing home. It was going to be clean all the time. Our animals were going to be, like, just, like, the best animals ever. You know, like, I would make the best lunches for school. You know, we would have amazing experiences. We'd be, like, reading books together. We'd be singing Kumbaya around the fireplace together. You know, the kids would be going to school going like, our stepmom is amazing. She's like the best person ever in our lives. And like, it just did not happen like that. I got to a point really quickly where I was resentful. I was frustrated. I was kind of angry. I was feeling a little bit bitter. I was feeling taken for granted. Not because of anything that they did, because my happiness does not come from them. My cup is not filled by them. I'm the only one that is responsible for filling my cup. Not because of anything they did. They were just them. You know, they just acted, normally, behaved normally. But because I had put all of this stress on myself, all of this kind of pressure on myself to perform, to be the best that I thought I had to be, these unreasonable expectations. And in the process, I completely lost myself. Like in the process, I completely lost myself. I completely just neglected myself. I didn't take any time for me. I didn't do any of the things that I thought I should. I didn't do any of the things that I wanted to do, that I enjoyed doing. I never took time for me. And and this kind of goes off on a tangent, but I got my entire sense of self-worth and validation as a person from the performance of these acts of service that I thought I had to perform, and I thought I had to be in order to be good enough. And in the process, I totally lost myself. And the reality was, the answer was so much simpler. Yes, you know what? Keep the house clean. Yes, you know what? Pack nutritious lunches. Yes, you know what? Like, do those things. I'm not saying you shouldn't do those things for the people that you love. But the answer was actually way simpler. The answer was, if I had taken more time for myself, and I had filled up my cup, and I had made my sense of well-being a priority, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, if I had made that a priority, then that would have just flowed out into all areas of my life, right? Like it would have just naturally there would have just naturally been this kind of outpouring into my life, and there wouldn't have been so much conflict, or there wouldn't be so much kind of that like kind of emotional tug of war, or not even emotional tug of war, but I'm talking about, like that kind of tug of war that you kind of have sometimes with people in your life when you are trying to do what you feel like you should be doing, and it's not necessarily what they're asking for. Because I realized very quickly that, kids aren't going to look at me and go, she's so amazing because she makes me lunches. That might be something as an adult that they'll look back and be like, wow, like Charlotte really she stepped up to the plate. But right now, what they're going to be looking at is how I make them feel. And the problem is if I'm trying to do all these acts of service and I'm feeling crappy, then that's going to make them feel crappy. But if I feel good and I respond to them in a similar way, then that's going to make them feel good. And that's actually what they're going to take away. So Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And it's true. So if you identify with any of the things I just said, don't panic, because you can get back on track. It is easy. It's an easy fix for you to get back on track. So here's a couple of things that you can do really quickly. You can start doing them today, tonight, to get back on track. Number one, take time for yourself. Like that is absolutely pivotal. Like we are taught that it is selfish to take time for ourselves. Like we are taught that if you make yourself a priority, or you make yourself number one, that you are really selfish. And if you are a mother, and you have children and there are little people or medium-sized people or big people in your house, then you feel this even more. We are taught that it is selfish to put other people, it is selfish to put ourselves first. That it is selfish to make our happiness a priority, but that is just not true. It is just not true. If you want great relationships, if you want to feel happy, if you want to thrive, if you want to enjoy life, if you kind of want to see the life go in the direction that you always wanted it to, that you imagined way back when, the key is to put yourself first. So take time for yourself, because I can guarantee you, in fact, I promise you that if you take time for yourself, it will never be time wasted. It will never come back without benefit, and it will be time well spent. So take time for yourself. So, that might be 5 minutes a day. It might be half an hour a day. You might decide I'm going to have like an afternoon a week, or a set time every week, or every month I'm going to make time for yourself. While I love the idea of doing like set time every week or set time every month for yourself, I think it's really important that you take time every single day, and that can literally be any time that works for you. There is no set way. There is no prescribed way that if you do it this time of day for this length of time, do what works for you, because that's kind of like the whole point of life, right? Do what works for you. So, maybe your best time is in the morning when you wake up. Maybe your best time is at night. You're a night owl and it's like at night. Maybe you do it like before you go to bed. Maybe, you do it when the kids are having supper, or maybe you do it on your lunch break, like whenever works for you. Just pick time and pick up the length of time that feels right for you. If one day you can only take 5 minutes and the next day you're able to take an hour, wonderful. There's no set amount of time. Just pick time. I've had times in my life where 5 minutes was enough to make me feel refreshed. Like 5 minutes of some good fresh air, listening to some music, taking time just to kind of zone out, get lost in the music, lost in my own thoughts, and just relax, actually was like as good as taking an hour or two nap. So just take time for yourself. And number 2, be intentional. Be intentional in doing that. Be intentional in carving out time for yourself. Be intentional in making yourself a priority. Be intentional in looking after yourself. Yes, physically, mentally, emotional, spiritually. Be intentional in that. And again, do what works for you. If you want to go to the gym 5 days a week, twice a day, great. If that was what works for you, do it. But if you can only do it 3 times a week, great. I have a friend who, this year wanted to commit to her health. And she said, I need to find something that works for me. She used to go to the gym 5 days a week, and she just found that did not work for her. So she said, I'm going to go 3 days a week. That works for me, and that's what I'm going to commit to. And she did. And she has seen amazing results. She's been so aligned with that, because it didn't feel like hard work. It didn't feel like struggle to get there. It wasn't so much of a commitment that it was unrealistic. It was what felt right for her. And she's seen amazing results. So do what feels right for you. Be intentional in setting that time aside. But the most important thing is to do it, right? To do what works for you. And commit to feeling good. Every day, do something that makes you feel good. It is okay to feel good. It is more than okay to feel good. It is okay for you to want to feel good. It's not selfish. It's not self-indulgent. It's certainly not sinful. It is okay to want to feel good. Because here's the thing. The more that you feel good, and you know what? It's anything that makes you feel good. So it could be like getting a massage, having your hair done, getting your nails done, going for a facial, having a back massage. It could be taking a long bath, like a candlelit bath. It could be journaling. It could be going for a walk in nature. right? Like it could be buying a specific style of home decor, right? It could be investing in a TV that you've always wanted and you're like, I can actually do this. Like I have the money, I can do this. It might be designing your house in a way that you just love, right? Having an environment, that really just works for you. Because it's not really spending money. I actually see it as investing money, because if I invest money in the things that make me feel good, I feel happier. And when I feel happier, my relationships thrive. So my relationships thrive, not only with Kyle, but with the girls. I'm more optimistic about life. Things that really used to frustrate me no longer frustrate me as much. I have a better outlook. My attitude is better. I have a better perspective on things. I can look after my own needs. And then it means that I'm able to actually be more productive, happier, healthy, and a whole version of me. And the best gift that you can give the people around you, your loved ones, your other family members, friends, co-workers, clients, is a happy, healthy, whole you. That is the best number one gift that you can give, is a happy, healthy, whole you. So commit to feeling good. It is not wrong to feel good, because the more good you feel, the better you feel, the happier you'll be, the more you'll thrive, the better your relationships will be, and you'll just be kind of skyrocketing off towards the kind of life that you want, and you're able to actually create the kind of life that you want and invite more of that good stuff in. So when you thrive, everybody thrives. And sometimes there's this point that people are thinking, yeah, but I don't have time for that. Here's the thing. If you don't make time for yourself, number one, nobody else is going to make time for you. Like, you teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. But number two, if you don't make time for you, then you'll all of a sudden be making time for the things that you don't want to make time for. You'll be making time for the mental stress that you didn't want. You'll be making time for the things in your life that you didn't want to attract. You'll be making time for poor health that you didn't want to have to make time for. So, like I said, there's no set length of time that you need to spend on this. Do what works for you, and do it one little bit at a time. It might be, I'm going to do this today, and I'm going to add to it and do this tomorrow. Then I'm going to add to it and do this tomorrow. And then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And don't try and change everything at once, right? Because if you're like, right, that's it. I am going to meditate in the morning. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to start making plant-based meals. I'm going to take a candlelit bath every single day. And I'm still going to do everything else that I normally do in a day. Then that's going to lead to more burnout. Just do one thing at a time. Maybe you want to start focusing on your health. Maybe you want to start focusing on your mental wellness. Maybe you want to start focusing on taking care of your emotions. Maybe you want to start focusing on your mindset and your outlook, and doing some journaling to start thinking about what you're thinking about, so you can challenge and change the thoughts that you have and the mindset that you have. Maybe you want to start looking at your spiritual growth, whatever that is for you, whether it's you join a church or you start looking at different spiritual teachers. Just choose one thing and do one little thing every single day and just add to it. And that soon starts to gain a momentum and snowball, and you start to then very quickly see the results in your life. So, burnout. If you are feeling frustrated, resentful, angry, emotional, taken for granted, depressed, anxious, isolated, disconnected, poor physical health, pissed off at life, annoyed with everybody, could be that you're experiencing burnout. And if that is the case, start taking time for you, start making yourself a priority. It's that old example of the life jacket, isn't it? How many times have you sat on a plane Or have you heard, if you've never been on a plane, you've probably seen this on TV, put your life jacket on first before you help anybody else. If you go on a plane, they tell you, put your life jacket on first before you help other people. And I can guarantee you, if you're there with a child, you're like, hell no. I'm putting their life jacket on first. But the reality is, if shit starts to get real and the shit starts to hit the fan and stuff starts to happen and you don't have your life jacket on, you can't help anybody. So it's like putting your life jacket on first. Putting yourself first doesn't mean at the expense of everybody else. It doesn't mean excluding everybody else. It means making yourself a priority and aligning with what feels good to you, your core self, so that you can be your best self. Because when you are your best self, you are happy, healthy, and whole. And that is the best you that you can give to the people that you love and to those around you. That is actually the best gift that you can give to yourself. If you want to start creating a life that you absolutely freaking love, start putting yourself first. Start loving yourself more fiercely than you've ever had before, more fiercely than anybody ever has before. And watch the results, because I guarantee you, it is going to explode. Stuff is going to explode in the very best possible way. So I hope you guys got something out of that today. If you are catching this on replay, as I said, please hashtag replay. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. And if you think somebody needs to hear this, please share it. Because the more that you share it, not only does the word get out there more, but the love is spread even more. We can kind of start a bit of a love revolution, and I can kind of get my face out there and connect with more of you guys, because that is my biggest desire, is to see women living a life that they love, creating a life on their terms, and absolutely thriving, because life is too short not to love it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sticking with me and listening. Have a great evening, and I will chat to you soon. Bye.